We have start. Nous avons le départ actuel.
The pro peloton is getting more and more specialized. Riders can now make a career out of being able to ride 100 kilometers at 45 kilometers an hour to chase breakaways, or 55 kilometers an hour for only 4 kilometers to deliver a sprinter to the line. These riders need a very different tool than the Schlecks and Contadors of the world. They prize aerodynamics, they prize performance under big power, they prize anything that makes their day at the office a little easier. Specialized, with its 3 top pro teams, has large numbers of these riders on their roster. The bike they launched this spring was for them. Of course, the Cavendishes and Gosses of the world found a willing companion to take on big bunch sprints and delivered classics victories, tour stages, and even a world championship before the bike had seen its first birthday. The bike is the all-new Specialized Venge, an aerodynamic road bike. It's a very different kind of bike than their Tarmac. That is a bike about watts per kilo, about long climbs and vicious acceleration. It's a bike that earns its paycheck with finesse. The Venge is very, very different.
What this bike is a sledgehammer.
What's that in your eye? You have been
The Venge is a blunt force weapon. It's designed for the rider more concerned with total wattage output than watts per kilo. The 5312 spins more easily than any road bike we've ever tested, and the Venge still has plenty to give when you drop it in the 11 and jump out of the saddle. Our test bike was an S-Works level Venge with a SRAM red build, and the entire bike was sculpted with airflow regimes, the specific type of airflow each part of the bike encounters, foremost in the engineer's mind. Evidence of this is everywhere. The move to a narrower 1 3/8 lower bearing, the sculpted top cap to clean up dirty air from the bars and cables, the cambered seat stays to effectively channel airflow behind the rider's spinning legs. It goes without saying, the tubes are the 3-to-1 UCI maximum, but with a blunt trailing edge for 2 reasons. They deliver better crosswind performance, and they are much stiffer than a sharp trailing edge. Power transfer is further enhanced by a one-piece bottom bracket chainstay unit that is ribbed like the Tarmac SL3. Aero shapes are also not typically light. Surprisingly, our 61-centimeter test bike with 45mm aero clinchers weighed only 15 pounds 12 ounces, and that's with speed plate pedals and cages. Much of the news made by the Venge was due to a partnership unique in the cycling world. McLaren, the Formula One team, partnered with Specialized to design a special version of the Venge. McLaren had nothing to do with the aerodynamics. Surprising at first, until you consider the only time an F1 car is going 50 kilometers per hour is the split second before it's going 100 kilometers per hour. No, McLaren helped Specialized create a detailed layup, adding stiffness and lowering the weight of the Venge. But for all the news this partnership made, only the McLaren labeled Venge got this treatment. And unless you have around 18 grand or a contract with one of Specialized's pro teams, you'll be riding an S-Works like we did. The bike certainly feels incredibly fast at tempo, shift into a bigger gear fast. While that is not a scientific analysis, the numbers Specialized provides seem to back this feeling up. Against the Tarmac, the Venge saves 22 watts at 40 kilometers per hour. During sprints, it will create a 3-meter gap after 200 meters at 70 kilometers per hour. As good as these numbers are, they do come with a price tag.
You pay for some of that big wattage performance, some of that high speed performance at low speed, where the bike isn't quite as lively as, say, a Tarmac SL4 or a Super 6 Evo.
We imagine the McLaren would feel livelier at low speed with its higher stiffness to weight ratio and be a better climber. But that is not who the bike is designed for. You want to climb? Get yourself a Tarmac or an Evo. That's my 2 cents, so now it's time to put the Venge in the hands of our tame bike racer for a run down our benchmark descent. Some say he eats cobblestones for breakfast, or that he's nothing but a cheap ripoff of a British car show. All we know is he's called Mr. H.
Hit me.
The bike's power transfer is undeniable as Mr. H gets up to speed in a heartbeat, with the same geometry as the Tarmac, geometry known for nimble handling and high-speed confidence. The first batch of corners are dispatched at high speed. The speed carried through the lower corners of our descent was just phenomenal. The power transfer is on display again as Mr. H jumps out of the corners, and he's across the line. With the Tarmac SL4 the current leader at 220.9, the Venge finished the descent in 220.1 for a new fastest time. If you want to get your own S-Works Venge with a red build, you'll be spending $8,800. If you put out big power and spend a lot of time in the wind, the bike was tailor-made for you. If you're a lightweight that likes to climb, look elsewhere. I'm Ben Edwards. Thanks for watching PelotonMagazine.com.